welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make your own prop box and putting in like nodes or clippings or what they call like wet sticks. And I'm going to be showing you guys my setup and like what hasn't worked for me and how I like changed it around, and hopefully this method works because I've seen a lot of videos of people doing it this way. So I'm going to be showing you guys my setup. So I've seen someone on YouTube using this method with the cups, and they had drilled down 2 holes at the bottom for drainage. But I ended up getting some rotted nodes, I think because I packed the sphagnum really tight. So that's what I'm using for my prop boxes. Some of them had really good roots that started only in like a couple days, but I decided that I'm going to be taking out all of this sphagnum and just kind of having it in the box loose, because I noticed that a lot of people were doing it that way, so I'm gonna try it that way instead. So I'm gonna cut this little part off and see if it'll do good in the prop box. So I'm just gonna go through this whole entire thing and just check all my nodes. I try to scratch off some of the rot that was starting here. Hopefully this one does good. And then, yeah, I'm just gonna remove all the sphagnum out of the cups, and I'm just gonna place everything in the bin. And while I do that, I'm just going to check how everything's doing and make sure there's no rot in any of my other nodes. And I'm going to be using this liquid dirt that I found out about from a lot of my friends that are using it, and also a few people that make YouTube videos. It's an all-purpose plant food. You literally mix this little tiny amount with a whole gallon of water, and you just use it every time you water your plants. So I'm going to be mixing it here with my moss, and just gonna make sure that it's like completely in there and dampened in this. So liquid dirt, I got this little sample pack for like $8, and yeah, so it just made the 1 gallon, but you can also buy it in different sizes. I think it comes in a gallon as well, and even 5 gallons, and it could last you anywhere from like 1 to 5 years. So that's crazy, and it's pet safe, it's all organic, they don't use any pesticides or anything like that. Now I'm just gonna try to make it soak in as much of this liquid dirt, and then I'm going to kind of squeeze out the water, and then you don't want to have it too dry to where it's gonna dry up in like a day. You want to make sure that you can squeeze like a lot of the water out, but make sure it's still damp enough to where like a few drips are coming out of it. But if you have it too soaked, that's where like it's gonna start making your nodes rot. And then I think I had that problem. I kind of like squeezed the water out and then shoved it into the cup all tight, and here you see I loosened it up, and it's actually been a few days since making this video, and none of my nodes are rotting, so I think I'm gonna like this method a lot better. Once I have an established root, I'll probably put them back into the cups just so I can, you know, label them and have them kind of separated, because this method is giving me kind of like anxiety because everything's kind of like together, and then I'm like, oh no, like now I don't know which node is which, and I had all the cups labeled. So this is kind of a little more tricky, but like I said, once they start growing and I'll get to figure out what they are, I'll be able to separate them a little more. And now I know that having the moss too packed and kind of like squished together um, doesn't give any airflow to the plant roots, so that's why they probably rotted for me. So I'm hoping to see like better roots in like a week or so. So that's when I'm gonna check them. So after that, I just started placing my nodes and clippings kind of like where I wanted them. Not any really specific order, just kind of keeping the same plants together. And I'm gonna tell you guys what I have in here. I have a Cissus discolor. I actually have some in water, but I wanted to try one leaf in the sphagnum to see if it does anything, because I've had them in water for about a week now and I haven't noticed anything happening at all. So I'm hoping it does something in the sphagnum. That way I could just put more leaves in here and kind of root them. And then I also have a neon pothos. I wanted to try that one as well and see if it roots faster in the sphagnum rather than water. And then I have these Mandula pothos notes. I also have some in water. You know what's funny about this Mandula is that I've had several nodes actually rot in water. And I have this problem of clipping right away and then putting into water, and people are saying that that's how the rot happens. But I left them out for like 2 hours and they still rotted in my water, but they're also rotting in my sphagnum, which is weird. And it's the only one that rots, so maybe it's just a harder plant to propagate. I don't know, guys. Tell me, have you tried to root Mandula and gotten rotted nodes? Because I actually never had that happen in water. And I actually have several things propagating in water. So I was actually surprised. So I don't have much belief in these Mandulas. Then I also clipped some of this Micans philodendron. I actually have some in water that are doing great. I just wanted to make them kind of like shorter so I could make the plant more bushy, because I kind of had like longer strands and I didn't want to take off much of the leaves and propagate them in water. So I'm doing some in water and then I'm going to try some out in the sphagnum. Then I had a couple like little random wet sticks of, I think it was Neon Pathos, Manjula, and I think that's about it. And then, oh yeah, I also had some the wandering plants. I cannot pronounce that name. It starts with a T, and I had some in water, but also I wanted to make a more bushy plant. So I cut up the sticks and just made like a whole bunch of them so I could have like just a bigger plant. So the wet sticks I'm actually kind of just placing on top of the moss, kind of where the little tip of the root is sticking out from. That way the roots could just grow into the moss. So I've never done this way before with a wet stick. So I've actually noticed a few days after this video that little roots are pushing out. So I think it's working. So wish me luck with that, guys. So this is my finished little setup. It's looking super cute. I also threw in some string of turtles here because my cat ripped it out of the little tiny pot that they were in. So I'm going to try to see if I could root those a little better because I started noticing them dry out. So this is a little setup I have in my room with my grow lights. I have some pink princess rooting here in water, some little baby plants that I bought. I ended up buying this lamp on Amazon for like, I think it was like $20. And then I cover this up with the lid. I drilled holes on top of it, but the humidity still gets pretty high, up to like 99%. So I'm often coming over here and lifting it up. Hopefully I don't get any more rotting. So crossing my fingers for that. Yeah, so that's my little setup here and crossing my fingers for everything to be good.
I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'm in no means an expert. This is just what's worked for me. If you guys have any questions, you could comment down below. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you guys like this video. Bye.